Right, welcome back, everyone. Today we are ditching the one-size-fits-all approach to wellness and really kind of tailoring these routines. We have this video script that we're going to take a deep dive into, and it's got some interesting insights about how to do exactly that, how to tailor these wellness routines for different people.
Yeah, what's interesting about this script is how it moves away from these kind of blanket statements about wellness and digs into the needs of specific groups of people.
Okay, so let's jump into it. Let's start with students. I mean, who hasn't had to pull an all-nighter fueled by, coffee and stress when you're a student? I know I certainly have. So this script, it seems to be all about helping students prioritize mental health, even when, you have deadlines, you have exams. It's a really stressful time.
Yeah, and it makes sense, right? Students are they're bombarded constantly with information and pressure. And this script specifically mentions mindfulness and meditation apps as tools that students can use to help manage that stress. Have you ever used those?
I have, yeah. Some of them are really good at guiding you through these quick meditations, even if you only have a few minutes, between classes or something. But I'm curious, is there research that backs that up? I mean, does that stuff actually work?
There is, yeah. Studies have shown that even doing short meditation sessions, but regularly, can actually reduce anxiety. They can improve your focus, and they can even help boost your academic performance.
Really?
Yeah, and some studies even show that mindfulness practices can, physically change the brain, increase the gray matter in areas that are associated with learning and memory.
Wow, that's impressive. I wish I knew that back in my student days. But speaking of things I wish I prioritized more back then, this script also highlights the importance of sleep for students.
Oh, yeah. Sleep, we really underestimate how important sleep is for our cognitive function, especially for students who really need to be, sharp and alert. There's research from Harvard Medical School that actually shows that sleep deprivation can impair your memory. It can impair your attention and your decision-making abilities, and they even compare it to the effects of alcohol on the brain.
Wow, that's a pretty powerful comparison. So the script, it recommends trying to get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep per night. Any tips on how students can actually achieve that? I mean, their schedules are so hectic.
Yeah, well, consistency is key.
Yeah.
If you can try to stick to a regular sleep schedule, even on the weekends. The script also suggests creating a relaxing bedtime routine so that your body knows, okay, it's time to wind down. Things like taking a warm bath or reading a book, maybe listening to some calming music, things like that. And of course, limiting that screen time before you go to bed is really crucial.
Oh, yeah, that blue light, right?
Yeah, the blue light from our phones and stuff, that can really interfere with your melatonin production. That's the hormone that regulates our sleep-wake cycle.
Right, yeah. Makes sense. I mean, I'm definitely guilty of scrolling through my phone in bed, right before I try to go to sleep. So maybe I need to try that digital detox in the evenings. But beyond mindfulness and sleep, this script also suggests students incorporate short bursts of exercise into their day.
Yes, and you don't have to spend, hours at the gym to get those benefits of physical activity.
Right.
The script even suggests something as simple as taking a 10-minute walk. That can help improve your mood, it can reduce stress, and it can boost your energy levels. Even just standing up and stretching every hour or so can make a difference.
Okay, so I'm starting to notice a theme here. Taking these small, consistent actions, it sounds like they can have a really big impact on your well-being overall.
Sure.
It doesn't sound like you have to make these drastic changes overnight. It's just incorporating these manageable habits into your life every day.
Yeah, you got it. And this script really emphasizes that it's not just for students. So let's move on to the next group, working professionals. Because they also often face very similar challenges when it comes to stress and time management and maintaining a healthy lifestyle with these, busy and demanding schedules.
Oh, yeah. Between the emails and the meetings and the deadlines, it can feel like there's no time for anything else.
Yeah.
And the script really, it stresses the importance of time management for this group.
Right. And it's not just about being efficient with your, work tasks. The script really emphasizes scheduling breaks to avoid burnout. You need to intentionally set aside time for rest and relaxation and activities that can recharge you.
I'm curious about what the script suggests for those breaks. Because let's be honest, when you're in the middle of a project, it can be tough to step away even for a few minutes.
Yeah, I get that. It recommends incorporating those desk-friendly exercises that we talked about before.
Hmm.
Things like simple stretches or gentle yoga poses, maybe even just a quick walk around the office. All of that can help you to de-stress and come back, feeling refreshed and more focused.
So we're talking about stretching at our desk, but what about those tempting snacks
Oh, yeah.
that always seem to find their way into the workplace? The donuts in the break room or the candy jar on someone's desk.
The siren song of office snacks.
Exactly.
The script doesn't shy away from that challenge.
Okay.
It highlights the importance of making healthy food choices, even when you're surrounded by those temptations.
So are we talking about swapping out those donuts for a handful of almonds or a piece of food?
You got it. And it's not about, depriving yourself. The script emphasizes that, again, these small changes can make a big difference. So instead of reaching for that, sugary soda, maybe opt for water or unsweetened tea. Or instead of a bag of chips, keep a container of nuts or seeds at your desk. It's all about making those mindful choices that fuel your body and your mind.
Yeah. This is making me rethink my own snacking habits, I gotta say. Those little choices throughout the day, they can really add up. But before we get too caught up in our own routines, I want to shift gears to a group that often gets overlooked in wellness conversations: seniors.
Yeah, and this is where I think this script, it really shines because it takes a very holistic approach to wellness for seniors, focusing on things like maintaining mobility, mental sharpness, and social connections.
And those are all so important as we age, right? So what kind of specific activities does this script actually recommend?
Well, it starts with physical activity. Even gentle forms of exercise like walking or yoga or Tai Chi. Those can have a huge impact on strength, balance, and flexibility. And it's not just about those physical benefits.
Right.
Exercise can also improve your mood and your cognitive function and even your sleep quality.
I love that they're emphasizing activities that are accessible and enjoyable.
Right.
I mean, it shouldn't feel like a chore to stay active.
Yeah.
What about mental sharpness?
Yeah.
What does the script say about that? About keeping those brains engaged?
It recommends things that challenge the brain.
Okay.
Things that promote cognitive function. Things like puzzles or learning a new language or maybe taking up a new hobby or even just engaging in some good stimulating conversations. All of that can help to keep the mind sharp. It's all about staying curious and challenging yourself mentally.
Okay, so it's like a workout for your brain.
Exactly.
Gotcha. And speaking of connection, this script also highlights how important social engagement is for seniors.
Yeah. Social isolation can have a huge impact on both mental and physical health.
Right.
And that's especially true for older adults. This script encourages seniors to join community groups, maybe do some volunteer work, take some classes, or just spend time with loved ones. Really anything to just foster those connections and build a supportive network.
That reminds me of the saying, it takes a village,
Yeah.
right? And it's true for every stage of life, but especially as we get older, we need those connections to thrive. But let's not forget about another crucial part of wellness, nutrition.
Yeah, you are what you eat.
That's what they say. And this script really emphasizes that good nutrition is essential for maintaining your energy levels, supporting that cognitive function, and boosting your well-being overall.
Yeah.
Especially for seniors.
Okay, so we're talking about, loading up on fruits and veggies and whole grains and things like that. Yeah, it's about choosing nutrient-rich foods. Foods that provide the vitamins and minerals and antioxidants that our bodies need to function well. And staying hydrated, too, which is especially important for older adults. They're much more susceptible to dehydration.
Wow. This is a lot to take in. But in a good way. It's like we're getting a crash course in these, these tailored wellness strategies for everyone.
Yeah.
But we've still got more ground to cover, right? I mean, we haven't even talked about new parents and teens yet.
You're right. We still have a lot more to unpack in this deep dive.
Well, then let's get to it. In the next segment, we'll explore the unique challenges and wellness tips for new parents and teenagers.
Stay tuned. We'll continue to kind of delve into this video script and uncover those secrets to personalized well-being for every stage of life.
Okay, so we're back and ready to jump into the next stage of life, new parents. And I can only imagine what a whirlwind it is, with all those emotions and the sleep deprivation and just the constant demands. And this script, it seems to acknowledge, those unique challenges when it comes to well-being for new parents.
It is, it's a huge period of transition, right? And adjustment. The script really points out that that self-care often takes a backseat during this time. But, the thing is, neglecting self-care can actually make it even harder to be a present and attentive parent.
Right. Makes sense. It's like that classic airplane oxygen mask analogy, right?
Right.
You got to put on your own mask first before you can help anyone else.
Exactly. And self-care, it doesn't have to be this big, time-consuming thing. The script, it encourages new parents to just find those little moments throughout the day, even if it's just 5 minutes to, enjoy a cup of tea or read a page or two of a book.
Yeah, I love that, finding those little pockets of peace in all that chaos. So what else does the script suggest for new parents?
Well, it stresses the importance of seeking support, because let's face it, raising a child is not easy.
Yeah.
So, leaning on your family and your friends or even joining a parenting group, that can provide a much needed sense of community, that shared experience. It's acknowledging that you don't have to do it all alone.
Right. There's power in knowing that you're not the only one going through it.
Yeah.
Those sleepless nights and everything that comes with it. But beyond just, practical support, this script also talks about stress management techniques, specifically for new parents. What are some of the things it recommends?
Well, things that you can easily fit into a busy schedule, as a parent. Things like deep breathing exercises or mindfulness practices, even listening to calming music. All of that can help to regulate emotions, to reduce anxiety, and just promote a sense of calm in the middle of all those demands.
Yeah. I can see how those tools would be so valuable during those moments when you just, feel like you're about to reach your limit. It seems like this script really stresses the importance of self-compassion, especially for new parents.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things it says is you can't pour from an empty cup.
Like that.
It's a good reminder, It's not selfish to prioritize your own well-being.
Yeah.
It's actually essential if you want to be able to care for others.
Oh, okay. I'm feeling inspired to take better care of myself, even though I'm not a new parent. But before we move on, I'm curious about something. We've been talking about these tailored wellness tips for all these different groups of people, but what about the individual, right? I mean, how do we go beyond just this general advice and create those routines that really work for our own needs and preferences?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it leads us to, the whole idea of personalization. Because this isn't about following some, cookie cutter plan. It's about creating a routine that actually fits you.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? Where do we even start with personalizing these wellness routines?
Well, I think the first step is self-awareness. So take some time to think about your lifestyle, your habits, your challenges. What areas of your well-being are you struggling with the most? What are your goals? What activities bring you joy? What gives you energy? Once you kind of have a better picture of where you are, you can start to tailor your approach.
So if I'm somebody who, thrives on routine, I might benefit from creating a really detailed schedule, right? That includes time for exercise and meals and relaxation and everything. But if I'm more, spontaneous, maybe I need a more flexible approach that allows me to kind of adjust based on how I'm feeling each day.
Exactly. It's about finding what works for you. And remembering to pay attention to your body. If you're feeling exhausted after a certain workout, maybe it's time to switch it up. Or if you're constantly craving sugary snacks, maybe you need more protein and healthy fats in your diet, to keep your blood sugar stable.
So it's an ongoing process. We have to check in with ourselves, listen to our body, and kind of adjust as we go.
Exactly. And it's not just the physical stuff. Personalization also applies to, mental and emotional health.
Okay.
So if meditation isn't your thing, maybe you try journaling or spending time in nature, whatever helps you to de-stress and connect with yourself.
This is making me realize how much of wellness is really about just experimenting and self-discovery. It's not a destination, it's a journey. It's about learning what works best for you as an individual.
Yeah, you got it. And that journey, it includes, the fact that our needs and preferences will change over time. So what works for you today might not work for you a year from now. And that's okay. Flexibility and adaptability, those are key.
Yeah, this whole conversation has been so insightful. We went from exploring these wellness tips for different groups to understanding how important personalization is. And it's clear there's no one-size-fits-all approach to well-being.
Absolutely. And that means that you have the power to take control of your own well-being. It's about making conscious choices that align with your values and support your overall health and happiness.
Yeah. And speaking of values, that seems to be a kind of a recurring theme in this script.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about what we do for our well-being, but why we do it.
Yeah, you're right. And in the next segment, that's what we're going to talk about, that connection between wellness and our values.
So stay tuned as we explore how aligning our wellness choices with our core beliefs can lead to a more fulfilling and sustainable approach to well-being. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive. We covered a lot of ground in the first two parts, from all those tailored wellness strategies to how important personalization is. But now we're going to shift our focus to something a bit deeper, that connection between wellness and our values.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting because, when you align your wellness choices with your core beliefs, it's no longer just about checking things off a to-do list, right?
Yeah.
It's really about living a life that feels authentic and meaningful.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but I have to admit, I'm not really sure I understand what you mean. Like, how do our values actually influence our well-being?
Well, let's say you really value creativity
Okay.
and self-expression, right? If you're forcing yourself to do this rigid workout routine that feels like a chore, it's probably not really going to add to your overall sense of well-being.
Right, but if you find some kind of movement that allows you to express yourself creatively, like dance or even just putting on your favorite music and moving your body, then it becomes something that you really enjoy.
Exactly, and that change in perspective can make a huge difference. It's not about what you should be doing or external pressures.
Right.
It's about doing things that are in line with what really matters to you.
That reminds me of what we were talking about before about teens. This script, it emphasized how important it is to encourage teenagers to find healthy ways to express themselves, like through music or art or writing or things like that.
Right. And if a teen values authenticity and self-discovery, those creative pursuits, they become more than just hobbies.
Right.
They're really a part of their well-being.
So it sounds like we need to first identify what our core values are. But how do we do that? It seems kind of abstract.
Yeah, it can be, but it's definitely worth it. Start by asking yourself some questions, some, reflective questions. Like, what are the principles that guide your decisions? What gives you a sense of joy and purpose? What kind of impact do you want to have on the world?
So if I really value connection and community, maybe I would focus on spending time with family or friends or, volunteering in the community or even just trying to have more meaningful conversations with people.
Exactly. And if you value, learning and personal growth, then maybe you spend time reading or taking courses or exploring some new interests. It's all about finding ways to weave those values into everything that you do, including your wellness routines.
This is making me think about my own values.
Yeah.
And how they show up in the choices that I make. Like, I realize that I really value sustainability and trying to, minimize my impact on the environment.
So how might that affect, your wellness practices?
Well, it could mean, choosing to walk or bike instead of driving, or choosing local produce and reducing my consumption of animal products, or even just being more mindful of the products I use and the waste I create.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of how your values can really guide your choices. And it creates this more holistic approach to well-being. It's not just about taking care of yourself, but taking care of the planet and the people around you too.
This whole conversation has been really eye-opening for me. I'm really starting to see wellness in a whole new light. It's not just about physical health or achieving a certain body image. It's really about living a life that's aligned with what's most important to you.
And that's where true well-being lies. It's about finding that place where your actions are in harmony with your beliefs and where you feel a sense of purpose and fulfillment in how you live your life.
This has been such a great deep dive. I mean, we've explored how to personalize our routines, how to cater them to different stages of life, and and how to connect them to our values and make them more meaningful.
And if we can take away just one thing from this whole conversation, it's that wellness isn't a destination. It's a journey of, self-discovery.
Yeah.
And it's about constantly learning and adapting and figuring out what really works for you.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with a question. What small changes can you make today to align your actions with your values? What can you do to create a more sustainable and fulfilling path to well-being? Keep exploring, keep experimenting, keep those deep dives going.